Ta-da. Good day, sir. Thank you
Hello,
for
hello.
stepping up and sharing some of your food. Can you tell us, well, a little bit about yourself if you want, but why you picked this recipe to share with us?
Oh, let's start with why I picked this recipe. I was waxing nostalgic on high school cafeteria food, honestly. We actually had some pretty good cafeteria food when I was in high school. And one of the things I always would make would be turkey burgers. And I looked around and around. I couldn't find, like, I didn't want to find pre-made ones, but I'm like, you know what? I think I could make a pretty good turkey burger. And it started off with just turkey with some cracked black pepper on it, but over time I evolved that to what I now call my bacon jalapeno ranch turkey burgers. And it's exactly what it sounds like.
Now, I mean, you do have a couple twists in that you don't just use ranch dressing, you use a powder.
Yes, powdered ranch seasoning. And today, for example, I'm going to be using dehydrated veggies. I have dehydrated jalapenos, and then I have dehydrated onions and bell peppers mixed together. So
How does dehydrated ones different than using fresh?
I buy them mostly just for the shelf life aspect. Like the onion and pepper blend, probably about a year ago, I bought 2 pounds of dehydrated onions and about a pound of bell peppers. And volume wise, it was a massive amount. So I just mixed it together and put it into Ziploc bags, and I have it on my pantry porch. And I probably have another 2 year supply of it out there.
Well, I mean, I do have that issue. Well, let me change cameras. Like, I generally can't just buy a small amount of peppers. So, like, I mean, this right here is the amount of jalapenos, but this is a pound, and you said we need a quarter of a pound. But you said a quarter of a pound dry.
I mean, that's just an estimate. I mean, I'm one of those guys, whenever I make the same thing twice, it's never exactly the same thing.
Here's an example of me dehydrating jalapenos. There's half dehydrated, 3/4, and I don't know, 90%.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same pepper. It's just been drying over time. But
yeah,
you know, I have a string of them, like you put a needle through and hang them. But you have a better way of doing it, more modern.
Well, I didn't personally make these. I bought them prepackaged this way.
Oh, okay.
You can find them on, you know.
But I have a commercial dehydrator, but I know a lot of people do them in their air fryer.
I have not tried that. The only thing that we're going to talk about tonight that I did not try in my air fryer yet.
That's funny because it pretty much can do anything. But now you said bacon bits. You said you have yours dried, or
you can either buy the prepackaged ones of real bacon bits.
Okay.
Don't get the.
I got real bacon, but that's not done. Or I've got the bits.
I mean,
I do have, you know, the bacon flavored bits.
Now I prepared my own ahead of time. I did this yesterday, and I mean, it's probably gonna be hard to see, but I think
What's your process to make your own bacon bits?
I used my air fryer, and what I did is for a pack of bacon, I tried to use the lowest shelf possible, and I ended up having to use 2 shelves. And mine, the default setting is 370 degrees for 15 minutes. So I did that cycle once, took the bacon out, and I have 2 of these bacon cooling racks that you probably saw people put cookies on.
Oh yeah.
And I had one on the bottom with paper towels, and then one flipped over on top with paper towels. And I used a Pyrex baking pan for some weight. So I did that. And then I put them back into the air fryer, rotated so the ones that were more cooked were now on the bottom for another 15 minutes, put them back between the paper towels. And then I kind of started the crushing process by using that Pyrex pan and a little extra weight from me. And you could feel them breaking up. Then afterward, I used a food processor and just kind of pulsed it a little bit to break them into smaller pieces. And I think it worked out pretty well.
That's how you make real bacon bits.
That's how I made them. I mean,
It sounds like it worked pretty good.
yeah, it worked.
Now you don't make a small batch. You said 3 pounds of turkey.
Yeah, and so since buns can typically come in 8 packs, mine will be somewhere between a quarter and a half pound. I forget what the math is, but if you bought like a 2 pound pack of turkey, that would be 8 1/4 pound patties.
Since I don't have dehydrated vegetables, do you think I still should put fresh jalapenos in it?
I think you could. There should be enough grease between the bacon, and not really grease, but fat, that it should be able to cook. I guess we can find out.
Otherwise, I have, let's see, I've got ground red pepper, cayenne pepper, smoked paprika. What else? Oh, of course, black pepper, a couple kinds. So, but I could just mince a jalapeno really, really small and put it in.
Yeah, that would work. If I didn't have jalapeno, I would probably do a combination of crushed red pepper and black pepper. In fact, that reminds me, I'll probably put in some black pepper anyway, just because I like that bite that it provides. So, grab my peppermint.
All right. Yeah, I actually had a hard time getting a lot of turkey. I went there and they had 2 pounds in like the tubes.
Mhm.
I had to go to a second store and they actually had it in a 3 pound package.
Yep, that's the same brand I got.
Let's get cooking. And I did put in the ingredients list. If you're out of the US and you can't buy the powdered ranch dressing, how to make your own. It's not very easy. Excuse me, I all of a sudden started getting a cough. All right, what do we mix first?
I typically take the turkey meat into a large mixing bowl. I will cook with you. So
This is so pretty. I'm glad I got a large mixing bowl. That's a lot of meat.
and then now I did 2 packages of bacon to make my own bacon bits, and that looks about right. So I think there were 9-ounce things of bacon pre-cooked.
In
So
volume, how much is it once it's bits?
I'm just gonna fuzzy math it, and I would probably say right now I got 12 ounces after all the fat's cooked out.
Like
And I would
half
probably,
a cup.
oh, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Give me a second.
Anybody have a trick on jalapenos? Do you take all the seeds and the veins out, or do you use everything?
I usually, when I'm using fresh, I usually take the core out, but any seeds that are stuck in there, I just leave them.
Yeah, because I was told that this white part's the really spicy part.
The outside of that is, it's kind of the opposite of a watermelon, I believe.
Oh, okay. See, I just core it.
The only comment I'd make is when I do any kind of peppers like that, serranos or jalapenos, I usually wear a plastic glove because that gets underneath your nails. You stick your finger in your face, you're gonna be really unhappy cook.
So this looks to be about 1 cup of bacon bits.
And this makes a lot. Is this like you prep for a week or?
Yeah, like I work during the week, so I'll just take one of these in each night, and that'll be my lunch for work for that night. I will actually measure out the jalapenos, though I don't normally. So I'm gonna go roughly half a cup. I might add more later. Yeah, that looks like plenty enough, but I like it spicy.
Now, dehydrated jalapenos, are they much less flavorful or? Still?
Well, I'm telling you
I
right
feel like
now, they're sitting in front of me, and it's just now hitting my nose, and I can feel it burning in my nose.
Yeah. I actually feel like the dehydrated ones are more spicy. I just think what a green jalapeno, I think, is still not ripe.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, excuse me.
I'm gonna wash this jalapeno
Oh yeah, that jalapeno.
stuff off my finger.
All right, and I'm just gonna go about a 1/4 cup of the onions and bell pepper dehydrated blend. I'm not gonna measure the ranch, but I use quite a bit. I mean, I probably should have measured it, but roughly a 1/4 cup of the seasoning, and I just work it with my
You
hand.
get it in the package. They had like 12 different sizes. I got like one of these big containers.
Yeah, you can buy it in the big containers. If you see it in a box, it's got the individual sleeves, like you might see with taco seasoning packets. And those are fine too. I like to use these, the ranch seasoning on things like pork chops too.
So you said you put in a 1/4 cup of dehydrated onions, and what was the rest?
With the onions, I have onions and bell peppers.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So it's about 2/3 onions and 1/3 bell pepper. Actually, it's exactly that.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I actually have like a soup mix that it's got onions, peppers, let's see, peas, carrots. Now time to massage the meat.
Rinse my hands off. I'm not sure why I'm
Now,
rinsing my hands off.
this is a pretty lean recipe.
Yeah, I'm not completely health conscious when it comes to cooking, but I like to go low fat if I can, or lower. I'm gonna start making patties. I got this little contraption for making patties. It just plop a chunk in there.
Now, have you ever used the ranch dressing liquid in here?
I will use that also for things like pork chops. Are you just talking about like the straight up salad dressing?
Right.
Yep.
But sometimes, well, a lot of times it's easier to find that than the powder.
Yeah, but since I'm trying to get that flavor incorporated into the patty itself, I probably wouldn't use it unless you're using it after the patties have already been cooked in place of whatever you might want to use, like ketchup. I like to use barbecue sauce on these after they've been cooked, personally. If I were cooking these on a griddle, after everything's been done and cooked, one thing I like to do is use a spatula and scrape all the gristle off the griddle. And I'll put that into a food processor with a little liquid, maybe ketchup, barbecue sauce. And then I'll throw it into a small saucepan with a bottle of dark tasty beer. And I'll kind of make my own barbecue sauce for things that way.
Well, your base is like the smoky bits after
Yep.
cooking. Oh,
I have actually saved an empty ketchup bottle just for that purpose.
now, since I don't have that thing to make the burgers, how thick do you think you?
These are about half an inch thick each, and they will expand in volume.
Oh, they're not
Well-
like beef burgers that shrink.
No, I've always had mine puff up to probably about an inch to an inch and a half thick after they're done cooking. So these come out pretty thick.
I mean, how I learned to make burgers is you just make like I don't know, a small baseball, and then you just kind of slightly.
Yeah. And make sure the outsides are all pinched in so you don't have any flare. I've got 4 of these done so far using my little gizmo.
I've never seen one of those.
You'll find them in stores every now and then. I just kind of saw it probably 10 years ago. Well, wow, that's a neat idea. Picked it up, and I don't use it often, but when I do use it, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I got that. Like, honestly, I make turkey burgers more often than I make hamburgers at home. I can't remember the last time I've actually made a regular hamburger.
I've got the exact same press.
Oh, you do, so I'm not alone.
This smells really good. I mean, I guess because I'm gonna fry mine, I guess I could start heating my fry pan.
Yep, that would be a good idea.
Can you, hi, it's Lulu. Can you guys recap what you put into the meat mix, the ground turkey? Please.
Okay, so with mine, I have roughly a half cup of dehydrated jalapenos. I have a mixture which is about 2/3 dehydrated onion and 1/3 dehydrated bell pepper. I think I did a 1/4 cup of that. And I believe I did about a 1/4 cup of powdered ranch seasoning. I just kind of mixed it in a large bowl by hand. And I'm making 8.
So, and this is for 3 pounds of ground turkey, because I
Yep.
only have a pound, so I need to adjust my amounts.
Yeah,
I deviated in that I didn't have dehydrated veggies, so I put a small onion and 1 jalapeno fresh,
That's what I'm doing too.
very finely chopped.
so if you got, so how many patties were you planning on making with a pound?
Not there yet, so I don't know. But
Okay.
I'm a small eater, so I would go for smaller portions.
Okay. I usually let the number of buns that come in a package determine that for me. So if you're looking at an 8-pack of buns, you're looking at about an 1/8 pound patty each, which will be pretty slim. But they do puff up as they cook.
I just freeze my buns and take them out as needed. So
Okay.
once again, it's just me, so it's not.
How about that? Could you freeze these patties, or would you cook them and then freeze them?
I would probably cook them and freeze them. But you can always, you don't just have to use this for turkey burgers. Like, you and I have talked about my white chili recipe, which was an alternative for today. But in that, I use ground turkey and sausage. So if you were gonna freeze them, you could repurpose them into something else later.
But you make them and then you cook them all and then you just eat them over the course of the week.
Yeah, it's not just me, but it's just me in the house. But yeah, I prefer not to think about my food all week.
Yep.
So I make big batches.
I like food prepping on Sundays, cook a big batch for the week.
That's almost exactly what I do. Okay, so I've got
If you get them shaped right and you put them in a vacuum sealer, you can freeze them, and then they should keep form when you cook them. They shouldn't puff up as big. So I usually buy the Walmart patties that are pre-made, and after they've been frozen, they don't get quite as big anymore.
You have to thaw them out before you cook them, or are they thin enough that you just put them right in while they're frozen?
I usually pull them out about 4 hours in advance, so they still have a little bit of freeze to them. And I think it keeps a little moisture in the meat so that you don't lose all of that. Of course, I always marinate mine with Jim Beam. So
Really? I'll have to try that in the future. Yeah, my girlfriend was suggesting putting garlic in these too, but I didn't want to experiment too much today. All right, I got my patties made. I'm just gonna wash off.
I've reached the point now that my dried garlic, I only use the roasted garlic. It has like, I feel like 3 times as much flavor. The dried granulated.
we used to get Misfits markets, and they always sent us garlic. So I had so much garlic, I started putting it in everything and just crush it fresh.
Check out these garlics I get from my local organic farmer. These are elephant garlics. One single, I've peeled it already, but technically elephant garlic isn't garlic, but usually elephant garlic doesn't have much garlic flavor, but his is.
So are you cooking yet, or?
Yeah, I started. I only could fit 4 on my pan.
Okay. I'm gonna use my air fryer, and I like to use non-stick cooking spray very lightly on the little griddles.
See how many jalapenos I have extra? I'm gonna definitely have to dehydrate them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no. I always buy too many. And I never in the past knew what to do with them. I just let them sit out and they kind of dehydrate on the counter. But
For frying, I usually have my induction burner up like 6 or 7, somewhere around there.
okay, I only have mine at 5, so I'll raise it.
You can always you cut it back after they start cooking.
I'm just putting 4 patties on each of my trays in my air fryer. One kind of toward the bottom and the other one toward the middle. Now these patties will puff up in here too, so you want to leave at least an inch between the top of the bottom patties and the bottom of the top tray, if that makes any sense.
So that air can flow around. Okay.
That too.
Now, what kind of sauce did you say you prefer to eat these with?
I usually use barbecue sauce. Everyone has their favorite brand, so I'm not gonna force mine upon you.
The other day we made us an applesauce that was all savory ingredients. And I was thinking, I could easily make this into a barbecue sauce. Oh, I'm starving. What's smelling that?
So for my air fryer, the default, when you just turn it on, is 370 degrees for 15 minutes. And so I'm just gonna start that up. Grab my oven mitts. Now, if I were to do a side for these, I would do either au gratin potatoes or a twice baked potato. But these are perfectly filling for me for lunch work, just one patty.
I mean, when you have it on a bun, do you make it like a burger with lettuce and tomato and stuff like that, or?
If that's how you want to roll, I think a tomato on it would be pretty good, actually.
I suppose you could just take a patty and put it on a plate and put something with it. You wouldn't have to have a bun if you didn't want a bun.
That's true.
Well, I mean, by incorporating the vegetables into it, you don't have to. Especially if you use dehydrated, it probably. Like sometimes when you take a lunch, if you don't have it really well refrigerated, veggies tend to go a little funky.
And there's enough moisture in the patty to reincorporate the dehydrated aspect of it back to moist veggies, let's call it. I used to work with a fella and I brought one of these in because I was telling him about the idea of the turkey burger and he had just never heard of it. So I brought one in. I'm like, here's a bun, here's a patty. Make sure you just bring me back the Tupperware. And after lunch break, he comes back and gives me back the Tupperware. He ate it cold out the parking lot. He's like, man, that was awesome, man. I'm like, you didn't eat it? No, I was really hungry though. All right. This is the exciting part when you have an air fryer.
How long do you cook it for?
In the air fryer?
Yeah.
370 degrees for 15 minutes. And since I'm using 2 trays, after the first 15 minutes are up, I will rotate the trays and then I'll cook it at 370 for another 10 minutes. I usually don't stand here while the air fryer is doing its thing.
Well, I just said, I have an induction burner here, so I just set the timer. It'll.
What did you call that before? Instapot?
No, this is basically electric's magnetic cooking stovetop. So.
Yeah, you can show, there's a picture, you see the number 8s being displayed, so that you can have
Well, that's
setting
8
by
minutes.
number or by temperature.
So, yeah, I've got it. Oh, here, I could change it to, so. It's at 300 degrees. See, I could raise it. So you're doing, you said 375?
370 for 15 minutes. And
Technically, I could bake it like you do. Just
You
by
could put a
putting
lid
wood.
on the pan, you put a lid on the pan, you'd have the same effect, kind of.
And then
And
you don't
honestly-
have to worry about it. If you set the timer, it just shuts off.
yeah, and honestly, I could probably go the first round for 10 minutes and the second round for 5 minutes. But it is what it is. They still come out good.
Let's see. I get my thermometer and look. I can see.
My air fryer has a light, so I was just looking at them. They're starting to get some color.
What I like about these new electronic gizmos is you can literally set the timer and go do something else.
Yeah,
Me too, especially like the Instant Pot for me. You can walk away from it.
But I wouldn't leave home. It's just-
No,
'cause
no.
They could malfunction.
Exactly. But that's a good policy not to leave anything on the regular stove and go out.
Right. But the idea is you can set the timer and then if you do forget, it's not gonna like carbonize it, burn it. I think I would like this, first thing in the morning. I could make it as a recipe and then.
You could have these, you could have this like you could have this with a couple of eggs. Kind of like sausage and eggs, but you have turkey instead if you wanted to for breakfast.
that is another alternative I've been thinking about with these turkey burgers is maybe doing 2 pounds of turkey and 1 pound of ground sausage and mixing that together because I think turkey and sausage is an excellent combination.
Yeah, I mean. I'm checking the package here, but it's a 85% lean, 15% fat. That's similar to beef. But for some reason, beef burgers, when you cook them, they really shrink. I think the fat just renders out of it and they shrink.
I think the common fat content for beef is like 20, unless you're purposely getting lean or extra lean. Then you get it down to like 10 to 13%.
Okay.
Well, adding those other ingredients, that makes it juicier without having too much extra fat, because usually the juiciness comes from fat. But if you have other ingredients mixed with your meat, then it adds to the juiciness, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, for the people who came late, I actually found a recipe online on how to make the powdered ranch dressing from scratch. But it is a long list. The main thing,
Well,
of course, is the hard thing to find, which is dried buttermilk powder. I don't know.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say to Charles that
Oh, excuse me.
I make a white chicken chili, which calls for that ranch dressing. I don't use anything. I don't put anything in there, but it's a perfect dish to have your, like you say, sort of make up your own ranch dressing. I don't put the ranch dressing in there, but it would be. Yeah.
I did watch that video because I was talking earlier about my white chili recipe. And what my white chili recipe is potato based.
Yeah, mine is 2 kinds of beans, corn, sweet corn, and tomato, diced tomatoes is the basis of it, basically. So
We could go all day talking about chili. I'm definitely.
yeah, it's a good. Oren, I've talked about it. It's a good dish that you can have all the stuff in the house. You don't have to.
Both
get
of your
stuff.
guys' recipes, in my mind, is not chili because there's no chili in it. It's
well,
like,
you
it's
can add
white.
Well, you add as much chili in it as hot to give it as much heat as you want. Chili powder.
I use jalapenos in my white chili.
Yeah. So you can use harissa or whatever your preference is for chili and how much chili you want to add.
Oh,
I don't like
top
it too, yeah, I don't make it too spicy, so. But it's one of my favorite go-to dishes.
looking good.
That's the hardest part for me is not opening the lid. Because I've got mine inside a pan.
Well, didn't you have a glass lid? Didn't I see a glass lid there someplace on your stove? Oh. Maybe not.
I think one time I had a very small pan with a glass lid, but yeah, it's
Oh, no, it just looked like glasses, stainless steel, I can see now.
You can always go by style too.
Fred, you'll be proud. Right here, I don't know if you can see, this is actually on top of my gas stove, and there's the gas valve. It's been off since February,
Yeah, I mean, I use my induction.
since I got this induction burner.
Yeah, I'm kind of a one pot cook, and I use my induction burner all the time. I haven't used the rest, and I have an electric stove, but I haven't used any of those burners. And it's what I've ordered is there's a little Amazon have it. It's a little kind of, I don't know if it's made of bamboo or what, but it fits kind of over the top of your stove, at least over a couple burners. So I've ordered that, and then I'll put that
Yep,
down,
see?
and then I'll sit, yeah, something like that, yeah. So I've got that coming soon to just makes
Well,
it
it's mine
smoother
just
and
shut off. There
easier.
we go.
Yeah,
And temp it here. See what we got. $30. It's going up really slow, but. All right, I can do my second batch now. Well, let me see how it looks on the other side. That's nice and golden. I goldened it on one side, flipped it once. And then,
they'll continue to cook a little even after you take them out of the pan too.
turn it back on. What do you say, 370? These smell so good.
Agreed.
Now, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name earlier, that you said you have to cook vegetarian. Are you cooking spin on these, and what are you using?
Some people aren't cooking.
I think that was Lulu that was talking.
Well,
Oh.
I can't seem to get my video to start. It says you can't start your video because the host has stopped it.
Well, let me go over to security and see what
I
we
got
can
the
do.
video shut off.
Are you guys afraid I'm gonna flash you or something?
Yep.
Excuse me, I need to go move my house. Jalapenos.
No, I mean, some people can't eat red meat, so this is a good alternative, except they couldn't put I don't think they could put the bacon in it. You'd have to put, the faking bacon.
What, you don't believe the pork industry when they say pork, the other white meat?
Try your video
not the-
now, Lulu. Try your video now, Lulu. There you go.
Not the people who get sick from it,
That's true.
so.
So
um,
I'm doing both my itty bitty air fryer that's right there, and I'm doing a pan full of, I can't believe how gooey the meat is compared to ground beef.
You
So
want us to spotlight you, Lulu?
only if you want to see it. So there's what's in the pan. And I used all fresh vegetables and the all-purpose ranch seasoning. I put about a tablespoon of that in. And then
Oh,
I've
that's
got,
not enough at all.
but I only have a pound.
She's probably fine.
And he said he put what, 3/4 or a quarter of a cup?
Yeah.
So, and he had 3. So, isn't it 3 tablespoons to a quarter cup? I don't know. I was kind of doing math in my head, which is never a good thing.
And if you do want more ranch flavoring after they're already cooked, you can sprinkle it on top afterward.
Oh, there you go.
I hadn't
Like-
thought of that, but you could take a little packet of ranch powder when if you have a salad and just sprinkle that on a salad. You know, because then you don't have to worry about it going bad.
And I forgot to put cracked black pepper in the mixture, but again, putting black pepper on it after they've already been cooked adds a little more pepper bite.
Diffuse that bomb.
Not yet. Okay, they're looking pretty good. So my first 15 minutes are up, so I'm gonna rotate these, so the ones that were on top are gonna go on the bottom.
So basically, in my pan, what I've been doing is browning one layer and then flipping them over and basically baking them in there.
So, in your air fryer, are you flipping them?
Nope, just rotating them.
So I don't need to mess around with one. I have a very tiny air fryer, so I have 1 patty in there.
Okay,
That is small,
Yeah, it's
but that's perfect for you, just like one person meal.
yeah,
Most of the air fryers are so huge.
takes up less space on the counter.
That was my problem, is I got a air fryer and it just took up like half my counter.
mine is currently taking up about a third of mine.
So
The microwave in the foreground is taking up a third, and the third in the middle is my prep area.
Yeah.
all right,
have
I don't know
one
about
with
you
the,
guys, but I don't think I can wait until we're done.
Yeah, I had the
to
one
taste
with
this.
the door open on the front, but the hinge broke and it would fall open on its own, so I had to upgrade to the Ninja. But the one with the door on the front has enough airspace underneath. You don't have to flip. But like I've got the dual Ninja, you have to flip halfway through because not enough is getting under it because you've only got like a half an inch airspace.
Check out this bite of burger. It's like all full of bacon bits.
All
I'm just
right,
like-
I forgot the bacon bits. That's what mine is lacking.
It's just like, all right, here we go. Oh, wait. I usually don't show my face, but I want to see.
We want to see your face.
Do you really?
Sure.
I have to talk with my mouth full. That doesn't taste like turkey at all. It's like way elevated. I mean, it's like, oh my God. Sorry, I'm
Ugh.
keeping you. It's creamy and flavorful and smoky and has a little bit of texture of the bacon bit still, and you wouldn't know that this was turkey. It's Mm. Yeah, in my area, if you go to a restaurant and you order turkey, it's like the blandest. It's for the people who are very extremely health conscious. They'll get like a turkey burger and a plain thing of cottage cheese, and that's it. And there's no flavor at all.
The town I currently live in, I believe is 15,000 people. I mean, it's not a small town. Like the town I grew up in had 1,500 people. We had one stoplight in the whole county. But even in a larger town like I live in now, I don't think I would order turkey at a restaurant unless it was Thanksgiving time,
Why is that?
because it's probably been in the freezer for 2 months. Just my suspicion. Or maybe I watched too many Kitchen Nightmare episodes.
Now, I haven't seen it very often, but recently I came across ground chicken. And I suppose you could use that for this too, but I've always been a whole chicken kind of person.
I mean, I'm sure you could try it, but I don't think I'm going to be the one to try that. I think turkey on its own is kind of bland. And so it kind of invites those other flavors to make it better.
All right. I'm gonna keep eating, so the show has to stop because I can't talk. Does anybody have any final questions, or Charles, anything you want to go over? Because I'm just want to keep eating.
Well, I'm gonna turn off my air fryer and have a look see.
Yeah, I want to see the chefs.
Oh, boy.
Lulu, you're eating yours. What do you think?
I used fresh vegetables, so in my opinion, mine can use a little less bell pepper and more onion. And I'm gonna add more of the ranch dressing mix to it with the next batch. And I ate one of the pan fried ones, and it's moist and cooked through until it really is delicious. Now, because I didn't have bacon, I added my salt and pepper to the mix, and it turned out really well. But I could use a little more onion flavor and a little more of the ranch dressing, so I might chop up some more onion and throw it in there. And it's delicious, though. Thank you.
Well,
What I really like about this is you can make a whole bunch of them, put them in the fridge, and then you can just grab them to go for lunch, where you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about dairy. You don't have to worry about vegetables staying fresh. You know, it's all self-contained and quick.
What I like about what I like about it is it's not a hard and fast rule. You can kind of play with what you like, put the flavors in that you prefer. You know, most of us don't follow recipes all that much anyway. So, but the concept is great, and the fact that you can probably just put whatever you like inside of that turkey burger.
Yeah, I typically put one into each little Tupperware like I'm holding up, and that's enough for me for work, or if I'm feeling hungry in the middle of the night, no problem. They're there in the fridge waiting for me.
And I bet if you made them, like into patties and froze them by themselves, you can pre-mix this and just either throw it in your air fryer frozen if it's, thin enough, just like you would a burger. I'm sure it would be fine if you like that fresh taste cook. I might have overcooked my turkey burger in the air fryer. It's a lot tougher. Or, yeah. That's good though.
I don't know if you can see with the camera angle, but there's my finished products, 4 of them at least.
Yeah.
Oh, yours are fat.
Yeah, they started off, what did I say earlier, like 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick,
Yeah.
and now they're about 1.5 inches thick because they
Yeah.
puff.
That was the biggest reason I quit using that press is no matter how thin I got it inside of there, it would always puff up.
Mhm.
I don't understand, but when I do it by hand, it doesn't puff like that anymore.
I
think,
don't,
sorry.
no, go ahead.
I think in my opinion, the pan fried ones taste better than the air fried one.
Did
Yeah,
it drip off much juice in the air fryer?
You know, I didn't look in there.
And what temperature did you put it on?
370. I don't know. I can't get this little. There's a little moisture. What it seemed like in the pan, it put off a lot more moisture. But there is a little bit of drippings down there. Look how tiny this thing is.
Just like,
It's so little.
good deal.
Maybe I'll have to fiddle around with the temperature and maybe in the air fryer have it not quite so high.
Each
Thank
one-
you so much for sharing. I really like, I'm gonna be making this more because I like, again, like prepping for the week, and this is like perfect. I can make a whole bunch of them. and
Well, thank you
set
very
aside for meals. So. Any final words before I wrap up?
I would just like to thank everyone for joining us and for everyone who's watching this in the future. I hope you try this and enjoy it. It's a good alternative for a whole turkey for Thanksgiving. I'll do turkey burgers and twice baked potatoes for myself for Thanksgiving because me and the cat don't need a whole turkey. Again, thank you.
I mean, even if you bought the smallest turkey, there's no way. It's just like they're so huge.
The company I work for gives one away every year, and I'll take it home and I'll give it away to someone else or donate it to a parentry.
Yeah, I have a charity kitchen, and I usually get 3 or 4 people give me, and I'll cook them and pass it on. Thank you so much. All right.
Good job, Charles.
Thank you. Have a good night.